Hi there, Will here, and today I'm cruising around with my mate David and dual-wielding Pentax 6.7s. We've got a pretty interesting selection of lenses going on here, from the Fisheye to the 400mm, and we've ended up in the Langebahn-Soldana vicinity. So we're just cruising around, and I'm probably going to be very disappointed to see how different it is from the way I remember it being, and make some pictures.
We had two objectives heading out there. David wanted to pick up a rubber duck potentially, since he's developed an interest in aquatics, and I wanted to see what the wildflowers looked like, because in springtime the wildflowers on the west coast are incredible. It's about a 2-hour drive from Cape Town to the Soldana Langebahn area. Once we'd reached the Langebahn area, we had time to kill before we had to go pick up David's rubber duck, so I figured we'd go investigate my favorite flower field. It's something I spent years looking at growing up from my granddad's backyard, and in like 2019 when I came back to South Africa, it was one of the first places I went to go do a photo shoot, and it was spectacular then. Just endless swaths of flowers with boulders and things going on in between them. On this day though, as we rolled up along the road that I traditionally enter the field on, we saw a big black gate in the distance, topped with an electric fence, and I was a bit confused, and as we got closer realized that the place had been completely cordoned off, which almost didn't make sense because it's meant to be protected land, and I guess a big black fence like that is protecting the land, but it's not the sort of fence that the government puts up to protect the land. So we looked around and noticed that to the left there was a series of buildings in that field that hadn't been there before. As it turned out, they had decided to build a complex on top of it, which isn't something I wasn't expecting. I mean, I photographed these pegs planted in the land in 2019 in the flower field, predicting that there'd be something built there. It was somewhat shocking to see what they decided to plant over this incredible flower field. It was just endless rows of complex houses, basically, which is quite different from what the field used to look like. But we didn't give up hope. We decided to cruise around, and I ended up making a couple of photographs of interesting houses in the area with flowers in front of them, and we figured there had to be some area of the field that one could still access, given that it is pretty big if one looks at it from above. But as it turns out, there wasn't. I wasn't ready to give up hope though, so David and I concocted a plan, since they were still busy working on the development, that we'd just drive in and see what happened, and we went in and made some pictures. It's quite interesting pairing some of them, because this one, for example, is a picture I made of a peg for plot 41 and the flowers surrounding it, and this picture is of what plot 41 looks like now. I photographed what remained of the flower field, which will hopefully stay protected because it had CCTV cameras covering it, but it seemed a bit gestural, really, to have destroyed the majority of that flower field by placing whatever this is on it, and keeping the rest of it behind a fence so no one can go in anymore. Like, I understand the logic in having it completely cordoned off now and sealed with CCTV so that no one can ever get access again, but I can't really imagine that it's any worse for a flower field to sit down and have a picnic or make some pictures frolicking around it than it is to bulldoze it and build a bunch of white houses on top of it. Anyway, I was a bit bummed, as you might be able to tell, after that experience, so David and I figured we'd go to this little alleyway between houses that I remembered that thankfully hadn't had anything built on top of it, and try get a bit funky with the fisheye.
So I've had an idea. I reckon I can probably still do a jump and somersault, and David's got a fisheye for this Pentax 6.7 here with us. So I'm going to see if I can get a picture of myself doing a dive and roll thing over the fisheye. Hopefully I don't break anything. That's insane. Okay, well, what am I going to focus it at? 11? It does not have a distance scale. No, it does. 5 feet? Sounds about right. 4 feet? Okay, and then we just need composition to be correct. I really hope that is doing what I want it to. Why am I doing it this way around? I guess I have to do it this way around. I don't know if I want to do this, to be honest. The theory is good, the practice maybe not so good. Let me just... It actually needs to be lit from there. I just need to make sure I actually take the picture. 3, 2, 1. I need to do it as I start, I guess. But I kind of want to be like over it, you know? I want to be like here. So I pushed it when I was here, but it went off when I was like there. Ugh. Hopefully that was it. I think we should do one more. Wow, that was good. I think my facial expression is still going to be like... Loading in subdued light is for the weak. Nice. Actually, that would have been the shot. Let's put the doubler on it. Okay, this car just rolled in, and I'm pretty sure I messed up the shot of the car, but it's stopped in pretty much the perfect position for us to take a picture. So let's see what happens if we add a 2x converter to this 400mm and turn it into 800mm. Yo. Mirror lock up. Cool. Hopefully that worked. That stuff looks insane with like the buoys in the foreground. Okay, here comes the car. Can't even see. Oh wait, I can see it. Okay. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Push this button. Push this button. Okay. I like long lenses. I should use my RB67 500mm more often. Let's go see if we can take something with a tilt shift lens. Look at this house. Seems worthy of a picture. We've got the 75mm shift lens on here now, so we'll see what that can do. Ah, okay. I feel like that's reducing the vertical distortion, I suppose, potentially. Trippy. Cool. Well, hopefully that did something interesting. Go pick up a rubber duck, mate. Sick. Wonder if we can find anything else. Let's head there and see what's kicking. I wonder. Let me just see. Oh shit. Okay. There's no cars coming. Sick. That's nice. One more. Alright, well, I finished my second roll of gold in that Pentax now. Hopefully I've made some good pictures today. The goal for the day was to actually make good pictures. There might be one or two. I'm really hoping that flower picture turns out. And for a further synopsis on using that camera system, join me at home.
This isn't a full review of any of these lenses, obviously. I think I'd quite like to tinker with some of them and make a proper video out of them going forward. But for a brief synopsis, the fisheye on the Pentax is a lot more fun to use than the RB one. It just feels better in the user format, basically, of that camera than it does with the RB67. And I think it's technically wider too, although it'd be a bit hard to tell the difference really. In terms of optical quality, it seems to have pretty much the same failings that the RB67 fisheye does in terms of lens smearing and chromatic aberration, but to be honest, it's a lot cheaper and a lot more pleasant to use in my eyes than the RB fisheye. The only downside being that you don't get the super close focus that you do with the RB, so you can't get very, very interesting portrait distortion going on. But for the rest of things, you get pretty interesting results. I actually borrowed it from David for a test shoot the other day as well, and really enjoy its rendering. I'm really considering picking up a fisheye at this stage because I'm doing more fashion things, and as I pointed out in the RB67 fisheye review, the main application for them would probably be fashion. The 400mm also suffers from similar failings to the RB67's 500mm offering. There is a longer lens for the Pentax. I think there's an 800mm, but that would be a bit trickier to get a hold of, I reckon. And the 400mm already, as I say, suffers from the same issues as the RB in terms of chromatic aberration and such. And controlling the shutter shake also turned out to be an issue, even though, as you might have noted, I used mirror lockup mode on that Pentax 6.7. There was still enough shake going on through the lens to cause blurring in the final pictures, which is unfortunate. And I doubt it's something that can't be worked around. Like there must be a way to set it up so that it's super stable. I mean, I used a very stable tripod, I'd like to think, but maybe a sandbag scenario or just not being in the wind with something that long sticking out into it might make for better results. And finally, the shift lens, which is probably the most interesting out of the lot, really, given what you can do with it. I mean, if you don't know, when it comes to lenses with movements, the movements of the lens allow you to shift perspective, basically, so that normally you're standing at the bottom of a building and things taper away from you, whereas with a shift lens you can turn it into tapering towards you, and with large format you can get tilt going to change focus and all that sort of thing. But it's very cool, and I'm definitely going to make a video on it in the future, trying to do some interesting things with it, and the rest of them. Consider this a preview. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. You might have noticed that I have a mustache going. That's for Movember, since I do Movember every year these days, since I got sick. Shout out to all the homies with testicular and prostate cancer, and other varieties of cancer. I feel you. On that note as well, a little while ago I said I was doing a print giveaway along with head shaving, and received a number of responses from marvelous folks who shaved their heads and inadvertently entered themselves into the lottery, I suppose, for a print. And a very cool fella from Germany by the name of Simon Richter has ended up being the person that is getting the print. So, Simon, I'm going to send you an email, but if you see this before you see the email, check your email, and I'll see you in the very near future. A massive thank you, as always, to the members of my Buy Me a Coffee for supporting this channel. Recently got to go on a grand adventure as a result of the support this channel has received and being able to save things and put them towards that, and I'm looking forward to doing more of that in the future. Anyway, until next time.